Hello everyone, Alobe Mingalaba. Dear my beloved Chin people of Launceston, leaders of Launceston Chin community of Tasmania State of Australia, Mr. Mayor of Launceston, Honorable Premier of Tasmania State, and state officials and honorable members of Parliament of Australia, Mingalaba to you all. Thank you for inviting me today on these special occasions of the 75th anniversary of Chin National Day, which has everything to do with the 76th anniversary of the signing of Palau Agreement, which was the historical agreement that led to Burma's independence from Britain. 75 years ago, if the Palau Agreement, independent agreement had been implemented, Chin State could have become a flourishing state in Myanmar, just as Tasmania is in Australia. Chin State could have been a vibrant and prosperous state in Myanmar, as Hong Kong or Singapore are today. But 75 years of failure to implement the Palau Agreement, independent agreement, have left Chin State broken and weak. And the victims of 3/4 of a century of military oppressions, and now Chin State officially become the poorest state in Myanmar, where conditions are gradually worsening to those of North Korea. Sadly, we are marking today 75 years of oppression, 75 years of attack on our freedom, attack on our federal democratic values and principles, by the most brutal, oppressive military dictatorship. Before British rule for centuries, the Chin people enjoyed self-administration, self-determination, and political autonomy. We had our own kings and royal family, and were never ruled by an outside power. Due to the 75 years of oppressions by horrific dictatorship, the Chin people have not only lost their self-determination, self-administration, or political autonomy, but we also have lost and suffered genocidal attack from successive brutal dictators. In the last 24 months alone, genocidal military junta have carried out more than 9,000 attacks on the people of Myanmar and killed more than 3,000 unarmed civilians and arrested 20,000 people, including duly elected Member of Parliament of Myanmar, President of Myanmar U Win Mint, and State Councillor Do Aung San Suu Kyi, and have wishfully destroyed more than 50,000 homes, schools, churches, and monasteries. These horrific atrocities have forced more than 1.6 million into homeless, and they are now living in refugee camps, IDP camps. Furthermore, as a result of the military cruelty and brutality, more than 17 million people of Myanmar are greatly in need of humanitarian assistance compared to less than 1 million in 2020. 1 in 3 people are now acute in need of humanitarian aid, and half populations of Myanmar are being forced to live under extreme poverty. The brutal military junta in Myanmar are using disease as weapon, hunger as weapon, starvation as weapons. We the Chin people have so much to be grateful to Australia. Alongside America, Australia is host to one of the largest Chin community in the world. Australia has given us so much, and we in turn have offered a broad range of skills and contribution to Australia. To many in our community, Australia represents a hope for peace, hope for freedom and democracy, and a chance to seek a better life and provide a better life for our children and our children's children. Sadly, our people have been beset for 3/4 of a century by a violent military dictatorship, hell-bent on eradicating our people, on eradicating our languages, and eradicating our culture, our faith, and our way of life. We are eternally grateful to those who have helped us in our times of most in need, who have harbored and sheltered our refugees and supported the victims of the military's brutality and cruelty. But in truth, we do not want to be refugees. We do not want to have to find a better life and opportunity away from our fatherland, our motherland. Our dream is to build a stable and prosperous land, a new state in which we can live and thrive, and where we can know freedom and peace and prosperity, and where we can finally live and breathe without fear of violence, arbitrary attack, shelling, erosion, or genocidal attack, starvation, and hunger. The military's barbarism knows no boundary, and more ground they lost in this war, the more savage they become. It is for this reason that we must again turn to Australia and ask her to lend a helping hand in the cause of justice and humanity in Burma. Australia is a vital bridge between Asia and the West. As a strategic partner of Asia, a member of GATT, a member of G20, Australia is in uniquely privileged position to engage with the Myanmar crisis. This Myanmar Spirit Revolution is not merely a revolution for the future of Myanmar, but it is a test case for the principles of democracy and freedom against the continuation of corruption, military repressions in all of Southeast Asia. There are many actors working to undermine the revolution of Myanmar for fear of what a functioning popular democracy will mean for dictatorship throughout Southeast Asia. They are desperate to cast the People's Democratic Movement as warning to all other subjugated and oppressed people, hoping to throw off the yoke of their own dictatorship. The eyes of the regions and indeed the entire world are in this conflict between freedom, democracy, and tyranny, dictatorship. And the outcome will have long-reaching ramifications democracy the world over. Australia must engage quickly and decisively with the cause of the people, the cause of freedom, and the cause of democracy. Dictatorship is like a cancer, and Australia stands as one of a few great bastions of democracy and freedom, holding back the spread of this disease of cancer. Australia has already done much to hinder the junta's efforts. Australia has not only accepted our refugees, but has placed sanctions on the military junta and their associated businesses, crucially including MEC, MEHL, the two largest corporate entities under the military junta control. But sadly, this is not enough. The junta's network is large, and so we know that they will continue to find ways of escape sanctions and restrictions. There are many powerful allies who continue to engage with them and arm the military in order to expand their own spheres of influence and to bring about a new reign of dictatorial oppression and achieve labor and resource that offer them. But they will fail. Victory belongs to the people of Myanmar, and the future of over 54 million people of Myanmar are in the hands of the brave people of Myanmar, but their fate hangs in the balance. If we lost this fight, Myanmar people will become slaves to most brutal military junta dictatorship in their own homes and their own land, forced to work to death to line the pockets of cronies and generals as the nation burns around them. Australia must act to help save the people of Myanmar and keep the dream of democracy alive. We ask Australia to pressure Asia, ASEAN, and Myanmar to see this 5-point consensus implemented immediately and inclusively. We ask that Australia protect and block Myanmar military from engaging with ASEAN Defense Ministers Plus meetings at the MM Plus meeting and attending any associated meetings. We ask Australia also to apply the principle of universal jurisdiction that enshrines in Australian law, to take seriously the crime against humanity and war crimes committed by the military junta in Myanmar, and to actively persuade the guilty parties and attack to secure justice for their victims. And most importantly, we ask Australia formally recognize NUG, NUCC, CRPH as lawful and legitimate representative of the people of Myanmar, in conjunction with declaring the military junta SAC to be unjust, illegitimate, illegal, unlawful, and refusing to engage with them officially. We are so thankful that many Australians are deeply concerned about deteriorating situations in Myanmar, and luminaries like Professor Sean Turnell have given so much and sacrificed even more for the cause of Burmese freedom and democracy. We reiterate our sincerest appreciation. Australia has a long and valiant history of foreign aid and advocacy in the cause of human development and political liberation. It is for this reason that so many Australians are themselves migrants and descendants of the migrants who fled from brutal autocratic regimes. Australia is a glimmer of hope, an image of what the world can be. And those who have made it to the blessed country are proud to call themselves Australian, and to contribute with both hands and a full heart, and to the land they now call home. And yet there exists in us all a deep spiritual connection to our homeland, the place we are born, where the place our forefathers were born. Many still wish to return, and I hope one day their children might see the land of their ancestors. We all hope and wish fervently that one day our country of origin can know the same peace and prosperity that Australia knows. This is desired deep within many Australians and many people of Burma. We ask Australia to help make this dream become a reality in Myanmar. May God bless Myanmar. May God bless Australia. May Myanmar People's Revolution prevail sooner than later. အရေးတော်ပုံအောင်ရမည် အရေးတော်ပုံအောင်နေပြီ ကျေးဇူးပါ